welcome to Should I Buy This Game? Featuring Point City. My name is Christine, and in this video I'll give you a brief description on how the game is played and then share a few things I may like or dislike about the game to help you decide if you want to add Point City to your collection. Here we have Point City, and this is the follow-up to Point Salad, which I actually have never played. However, Point City is a really sort of fun game. It is a card game, and you get a whole deck of cards, and they tell you here, depending on the player count, how many cards you use and how many from each of the tiers you would remove. So the tiers are in this deck here, you can see there's 3 different color cards, and then they have the 1 dot, 2 dots, and 3 dots. Those are what they talk about the different tiers of cards you're removing. And you're going to put it on the pile with the 1, 2, then 3 on the bottom. Because as you go, the cards get a little bit more powerful. And so you start with some basic cards first. Each player starts with an ingenuity card, and this is like the wild card. That can be any resource. And there are 5 resources. We have energy, industry, economy, community, and ecology. And it's very simple to play. The first player starts by picking 2 of the resource cards. So I'll go down here and I will pick these 2 cards, and they just get put like that on the table. You don't want to lift them up because then on the other side, there's buildings that we will not be using because they are using the resource side. Now, since they took 2 resource cards, now we're going to turn over the card and make it on the building side. So to build this building, they would need the ecology and the industry, and this one wants 2 community. So when the next person goes, they could even be like, I'm going to get the birdhouse. Now, when you're picking cards, you need to pick either 2 beside each other or 1 above each other. And if you're picking a building, you need to be able to make it. But since they have their wild card, they can say, I want this birdhouse. So I'm going to take the birdhouse with the industry. And then they will use the industry card and their ingenuity card as their 2 resources. And these 2 cards will go out of the game. And they now have the birdhouse, which is worth 4 points. So now, since this was a building, we will put in resource, but this was a resource, we put in industry. Now here's another birdhouse, different one. It needs 2 economy, but then it gives you a permanent resource of a community and a point. Whereas this one here gives you the permanent resource of the ecology and a point. So this person has these. Now, as much as they'd like the ice cream truck, another community card isn't touching it, so they won't be able to go for that one. So, because you can only take it if you can fulfill it. So they may say, I want a variety of resources, because they don't want to use their ingenuity card yet. They're going to use that later down the road. So they're like, I'm just going to take 2 more resources so I can have a variety. And since those were resources, they're now turned into building cards. Now the other player doesn't have any resources, so they're going to build up. So they're going to go for 2 community cards. They have their eyes on that ice cream truck. And 2 more buildings get released. So now that there's a variety of buildings, the person's looking, and they're like, okay, I'm just going to give in. I need a permanent resource. So which of these buildings do they want? Maybe they'll go for the greenhouse. So they'll take the card above because they can't fulfill this and they can't fulfill that. So they're going to take these 2 cards. And for the greenhouse, they'll use the ecology and their ingenuity card. Those will get out of the game. And you can pile these up so you know how many you have of something. And now they have 1 permanent resource of that coin. So back here, this gets put there. And the game continues like this. So this player here, they were saving those 2 communities, so they know they want that ice cream truck. And it's basically all industry surrounding it. So they're like, that's fine. I will take these 2. So the 2 purple are using to pay for this. and they now have an industry, and they have a permanent resource of the leaf. Now, I know that this was the building card. However, there's also these tokens that I could place here if I wasn't going to refill them right away, just to remind me what has to go down. It actually goes this way. This will be the resource, this will be the building. And then you can fill them from left to right. Oops, as I say resource and I put down the opposite. And that's basically the game. It just continues back and forth. Each player gets 17 moves. Now we do have these tiles over here. And so this post office has come up. And you can see that it is a civic building. If you get this post office, then you're allowed to pick one of these bonus score. It's an end of game scoring bonuses. And so some of them would either be you just get 5 points. Some are 2 type with 2+ with the resources. I think it's resources. This is 2 for every coin. Then you have here like as your permanent resource. So if they were to take this, they would get 2 points. This is 3 points for pairs of resources and 6 points if you have for each set of all 5. And when it's talking about that, again, it's the permanent resources, not your resource cards, just the points you're scoring. And then you score the points here on the cards as well. And as we go, the cards get more powerful. They'll be like double resource cards. We can sort of look through, find some of those ones to show you. So it starts to get double resources and more ingenuity cards to use. And then even the buildings get like now you need 5 resources, but it's worth 5 points. And so as you go, that's why it's in a specific order, because you need more resources to get those buildings and the higher points. And it's a really fun game. It's relaxing. You're just picking cards. There's not too much stress. A little bit of strategy on what cards you're going to pick to get the buildings, to get the points. Do I want the civic to get these coins? There's only 10, so once they're gone, they're gone. And that's how the game goes. So let me know if you've played Point City or Point Salad, if you have a preference between the two, and what you think of the game.